Welcome Hagarin, this is Elixir talking more Homeworld Mobile. Today I'm mostly going to be talking about research, but I wanted to cover a couple of other things that some people mentioned about movement in the comments of my previous video. So first of all, there's something that I only recently was informed about that is actually very helpful, where you've got these cards along the bottom which you can use to select your units. If you tap that card and drag it, it brings up the same movement selector, which is actually very helpful. This also does work when you're using groups. So if I quickly put a couple of units into a group and grab them here, then if I drag one of their cards, it actually picks up them both and will move them both, which is really helpful. The second thing is you can actually do this from the sensors manager as well. So we're up in the sensors manager. I can pull this in here and you can see you've got those two lines coming from those two selected units, and if I let go of it, it'll move from here. This is a really easy way to do quick movement. And lastly, I wanted to remind everyone about using the UI to select the artifact or mission objectives that you might be trying to find, might be having a little bit of difficulty finding. I saw a few people commenting about that. But yeah, so on to the main topic, which is research. So let's go and have a look at it. So you tap on your big button up there, go down to the research in the bottom, and most of the time you'll be presented with this screen. So research unlocks on completion of chapter 15, which is decently far into the game, so it's good to know what to expect before you get there, which is why I wanted to make this video. So you passively generate research points all the time. That's what you can see in the bottom right. Initially there's a cap of 200 points in the buffer that you can collect, so remember to check it and pick it up. If it gets full though, the game will notify you with a notification on the top left. There's also some officers you can get which will increase research point production time or increase the cap. So for example, I currently have one who is increasing my research point production, and I often swap him out for this one who increases my research point capacity when I'm going to bed, for example, because the amount of time it takes for you to sleep, you'll more than fill up your research buffer, so you may as well have a bigger cap so you can get slightly more out of it. But that's me try-harding a little bit. So when you initially unlock research, you'll first you'll have hyperspace jump 1 already unlocked, and then you will have to unlock hyperspace jump limit 2 or tier 2 first. Unlocking this unlocks a few other trees and increases your hyperspace jump limit, although it's important to note that it doesn't increase your jump strength, just your limit. So you'll still need to upgrade your engine in order to go to higher strength systems. So predominantly, there's 3 initial trees you can get access to once you've completed Hyperspace Jump Tier 2. You've got Resourcing, you've got Strikecraft, and you've got Escorts. You've also got another one down here. This one is about capital ship stuff. That one unlocks at the end of Chapter 22 when you get a Tier 2 flagship. And we'll actually come back to this one a little bit later. But to start with, if you want to start a research, you'll need 450 research points. Starting any new research you've not done before will need 450 research points. Each research can be repeated a number of times with the cost going up each time. So you can see here I've got mining yield ore A at 2 out of 5 and ore B at 1 out of 5. So my ore A is giving me an 18% boost. Oh, that would be if I got it to level 3. It's currently giving me a 12% boost. And for ore C, I've got nothing, and ore B, I've got it at level 1 currently, so it's giving me 6%, and if I upgraded it again, it would give me the 12% that you're seeing here. You also need to get to a specific level of the previous research before you can start the next one. So for example, let's go to the Strikecraft one. In order to unlock Strikecraft hull here, in fact, we can do this with one I haven't unlocked. So for escort ship hull damage, you need to have level 2 escort ship hull unlocked. So you can focus towards a specific one, but you may have to go through a bunch of other researches in order to get there. The main question I wanted to talk about is, what research should you prioritize? I feel like it's quite an important thing to think about, because it takes quite a while to get through this stuff and to produce your research points. It's quite a tricky question, and I'm sure some experienced players are going to have a lot of opinions about this, and I'm really curious about that, so please put your thoughts in the comments. There's a few factors that I was considering. So first off, I think resourcing is a bit of a dud. You have to do a little bit of resourcing, and getting the resource controller is actually quite helpful, but the ore yields for T2 I think are not very helpful. I feel like it's a bit of a waste because first of all, you can always yo-yo back to the area that you're mining at, and second, there's often other players out mining at the same place too, so you can usually leave your ship mining for extended periods of time. Plus, you're going to have a lot of time to wait whilst things are fabricating or refining, so you can always go and do more mining whilst those are going on. So I don't think you really need the efficiency here. The second thing is it really depends on your play style. So do you prefer more relaxed gameplay where you don't have to worry about your ships getting quite so damaged? If that's how you want to play, go for armor. If you prefer maxing out your offensive capabilities, max out your damage. I mean, it's kind of simple, but it's important to think about. You could also have a mix of the two, but I prefer to go wholeheartedly into one or the other. Also, I think that speed is a little bit of a waste as well. You do get quite a significant speed boost, but I've not noticed feeling slow, especially in Strikecraft. They're the fastest units in the game, so I've really not noticed needing extra speed. So I'm just leaving this one at level 2. The third thing is it depends on your kith. So for example, I'm Kith Nabal, so I'm getting bonus damage from frigates and fighters. If I might be able to go to my commander page. Yeah, I'm Kith Nabal, so I'm getting extra fighter hull damage and extra frigate hull damage. And I'm not really bothered by the refining time. So, to me, I've already got a bonus to my damage for my fighters and my escorts. So I'm trying to double down on that damage. So going into my research, if I look at Strikecraft, you've got Strikecraft hull damage here. So I'm trying to boost this up quite a lot at the moment. And getting the 10% on top of all of this gives them a huge amount of damage, which makes them really, really good. For example, also, if you're Kith Somtor, your flagship's kinetic weapons are going to be getting a cooldown reduction. And that's actually really important for the bottom tier tree down here, which we'll come back to in a bit. Yeah, but you'll only unlock this once you get to a tier 2 flag. But once you do, maxing out your kinetic turret fire rate will be a pretty big deal. So yeah, let's talk about this section here now. As I mentioned before, this unlocks at the end of chapter 22, so it's a decent way into the game. But especially at that point, your flagship is your main source of firepower, and especially when you're mining, because you're gonna have most of your slots filled with resource collectors. It really depends what weapons you're running, but most of your guns, especially early on and when you just finish the chapter, are going to be mass drivers for quite a while. So reducing their cooldown is going to make a pretty substantial difference to your overall damage. So this first one here, kinetic turret rate of fire. Well, mass drivers are kinetic weapons. So yeah, boosting this one is going to make a pretty substantial difference to your general damage levels. And then once you unlock some different weapons, so for example, you'll be able to get, you've also got missile turrets. If you're using a lot of missiles, worth boosting that. Beam turrets, I haven't unlocked any of these yet, but I am probably going to use them quite a lot once I do, but I imagine they're quite late on in the game. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Let me know your thoughts on research and what you've been researching in the comments. And yeah, leave a like on the video if you liked it, and subscribe to see more Homeworld content. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye!